Okay, here we go. Let's get to the show. What is up, my Monday Club brothers and sisters? Oh my goodness, we have such an exciting Monday Club coming up for you today. Listen, today is a day that we are talking about toys for kids, toys for adults, adults playing with kid toys, kids playing with adult toys, and adults playing with adult toys. It's toy-tastic. It's going to be amazing. Stick around for Monday Club.
Cheers!
Cheers, me hearties!
To childhood made for adults.
Cheers to childhood, to adulthood, and to adults behaving like children. This is a new trend, Pete. Last time we talked about games that were going on now that adults were playing that were adult games, but they were playing adult versions of kid games like Tag and Duck Duck Goose and things like that. Now, apparently, it's a new trend for adults to play with kid toys and make adult toy version of kid toys. It's crazy.
I think it's wonderful. This company made a 70-mile-per-hour version of the Little Tikes toy car. You know that red little car that kids, plastic, with that they push themselves in, and then there's a yellow awning or roof over it?
Yeah, you're talking about a toy that toddlers play with, right?
Yeah. Funny thing is, my wife's looking at buying one for our son. And I'm thinking about getting this so I can go alongside him.
I could just see you bumping into him and just running him over.
I'm like, hey, son, look at my Little Tikes car. It's way cooler than yours. It has a motor.
So let's talk about this, okay? There's a video that Pete found of this toy car, but it's the adult size version of a toy car that this man built. It looks the exact same. It's the red car with the yellow awning. It has a steering wheel that apparently has an airbag in it. Like, it's a street legal car.
There's no glass. It's all open air.
Yeah. So let's play this video because I want to see this thing in real life.
Yeah, it's very true to form. It's John and Jeff Bitmead from Oxfordshire, England. So steering wheel's on the right, so that's kind of weird. Made this. It's totally street legal apparently too, at least in the UK. So
yeah, I mean, looking at the pictures right now. It has seat belts. It has a airbag. It's legit.
In the video they have a little kids version and the big adult version right next to each other. It's pretty awesome. I really want one of these. So if any Monday Clubbers are in England, you can FedEx me one, please.
Would you? Real question. Would you go 70 miles an hour in this plastic ass toy car?
I wouldn't go 70 miles per hour in one of those little Yaris's. I wouldn't go 70 miles an hour in a smart half car. You ever see those go-karts out there? I see them on the highway. I'm like riding right next to them going 70 miles an hour. And I have to think they're the bravest sons of bitches out there.
Yeah, let me just say that Tyco toy car, this red car with the yellow awning, I'm not a scientist, but I'm going to go ahead and say that it wasn't designed to go 70 miles an hour. It is top-heavy. It's basically the Flintstones car, but with a motor in it. And so I've seen the Flintstones car tip over. Yeah, totally. Cheers to that.
To the go-kart made for adults. I'm drinking something extra special today, Gus.
What are you drinking?
So remember last week, my buddy and friend of the show, Alan Benson, gave us money to go buy beer?
Yes.
And I could not find that beer because I live in Maine, and we have so many amazing breweries. We just stock all Maine brews. But last time I was in Portland, which was yesterday, I stopped into Whole Foods. I took your recommendation, and I looked for the beer. I'm still making this attempt to find this beer, but instead, I found something else. Ram Island Chai Mead. Have you ever had mead before?
I love mead. Is it good?
It is amazing. It's super sweet. It's very good. I've never had mead before. I've always wanted to try it. I've read about it in kind of, they use it in like fantasy books or back in the day, mead was the thing.
Oh yeah, man. Back in the night times and the Viking times, mead was how it was done.
Yeah, and this is amazing. It's mead with a blend of spiced chai tea from Chai Wallas of Maine. Chai Wallas. I don't know what that is. Anyways, it's brewed right here. So mead is what? Honey wine? Is that what it is?
I don't know enough about mead to tell you what's in it. I will say that I have had a mead that had gold in it.
What?
At a wedding. A friend of mine's wedding, they brewed themselves some, man, I don't remember what it's called, but it was golden, maybe as Midas weed. Not Midas weed. Midas mead. And
Freudian slip.
Snoop Dogg smokes Midas weed. It was Midas mead, and it was delicious. It was really, really good. I will say that I had gold flecks in my poop the next day, and that was a little weird.
Was that the most beautiful poop you've ever pooped?
It was maybe the most expensive poop I've ever taken.
There's a website here. There's MaineMeadWorks.com. So there's a legit mead company in Maine. So it's delicious. Thank you for this awesome. What are you drinking?
Because of our donation, and he bought us a drink, I thought it was only fair to support his desires of us having this type of beer. So I'm drinking my other bottle of the Brewery Churro, and this is with the Mosaic hops, and it's the
Mosaic.
It's really good. I really enjoyed my first bottle of it. So this is the second bottle with the different types of hops in it. It's the size of a wine bottle, so we'll see how far I get through during this whole episode.
Delicious. Is Mosaic hops just to collect like a bit of hops from here and a little bit hops from over here and a little bit over there? And...
You think that's how they name it? That it's like, no, let's get a patch. How about patchwork hops?
Yeah, we're just gonna take a little hops from everything and we're gonna name it fancy Mosaic. People will buy that.
It's not random. It's Mosaic.
Yeah.
So earlier we were talking about this trend of adults reminiscing about their childhood and getting these toys or inventing these toys from their childhood that they can use as an adult. And
a trend we fully support here on Monday Club.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. If life has taught me anything, Twister has gotten better as I've gotten older.
What? Because you fall quicker and everyone is falling on top of each other.
You get to get into awkward situations with newcomers. It's a great game. So there are lots of these types of toys that are out now. And the other day I was driving in my car and I parked at a friend's house and I looked out of my passenger window and I saw a biker gang of these guys, hipsters, man, big beards, nice hats, cheap sunglasses, rolled up pants, hipsters, on giant adult-size big wheel tricycles. You remember those tricycles when you were a kid that were plastic tricycles but had the big front wheel and the pedals were attached to the front wheel and you were pedaling along? It was a biker gang of these guys going down the road and doing like power slides, and there was at least 10 of them in formation just riding around like they were on Harleys, but they're on these plastic big wheel things.
Like in a duck flying V formation, flying.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's like we got ourselves a convoy of big wheel trikes. Anyway, it got me thinking, good for you, hipsters. God damn it, good for you. Way to step up and think to yourself, oh, when I was a kid, what made me happy? This thing? All right, well, let's make this thing, but make it badass. Because they were drifting. They were going downhill, so they were drifting around corners and stuff like that. We probably can find some videos of these things.
Fast and the Furious
awesome.
Style? Fast and the Furious
style, where they were like locking up their front wheel and just power sliding around corners and stuff like that. It was awesome.
I had a big wheel when I was a kid, and it was a Transformer big wheel. The handlebar in the front actually transformed. It went from like a motorcycle look, and then you did some flips and flop, and then it turned into a Transformer. It was pretty badass, I must say.
I gotta say that I can't wait till this trend catches up to Transformers and we get actual cars that we can drive that transform into other cool things, like kegerators.
I'm responsible for the Transformers resurgence as of the last few years. Did you know that?
Please
because they were gone for a long time.
They were, yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, I wrote them asking if they still had Hasbro, I think, makes them. I wanted the tape player Transformer, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Yeah. And this was probably in the 90s. I was probably too old to be playing with Transformers at that time. But I wrote them, Hasbro, and asked them, oh, do you still have this Transformer? I can't find it anywhere. And I have a letter from them. They wrote back to me saying, oh, thank you for your love in Transformers. We do not make that anymore, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? 10 years later, all of a sudden, Transformers movies comes out, and there's new Transformer toys. I just think that I was the little pebble of a snowball that started the Transformer movement going back on.
Listen,
throw that out
I'm
there.
going to go ahead and say that, and this is what a perfect segue into our next segment, dude. Well done. That's a professional right there. Well done, sir.
I'm
I'm
bowing.
going to say that the old school Transformers were the pinnacle of children's toys. That's where children's toys peaked. Was the old school Transformers, especially Soundwave, the one that you were talking about.
That I never got.
If I remember correctly, it was an actually functioning tape player that another Transformer could transform into a little cassette tape and go in it, and it would play a song or talk. I don't know what it did, but it was awesome. It also weighed probably 75 pounds of like actual metal, and so they were like the most dangerous toys of all time. There's probably kids out there that broke toes or jaws or teeth on these old school Transformers, but they were the shit, man. Those things were cool.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Transformers. Speaking of tape players, I had the Home Alone. You remember that thing from Home Alone where the kid, Macaulay Culkin, he was recording people and then slowing it down, playback, slow down, so it sounded like he was an adult? I totally had one of those. I got it for Christmas.
You filthy animal.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Those old school toys were awesome. And one of the reasons why I think that's interesting that you brought that up, our garage is just stuffed full. My wife's parents gave us all of their old furniture when they moved out of their old house into their new house. And so right now, our garage has 3 living spaces just shoved into it right now. There's a small path that I can walk from the inside of the garage to the back of the garage, and that's it, because everything else is just stuffed from floor to ceiling with furniture and stuff. But I was digging around in there, and I found a trunk, and inside of that trunk was a giant plastic bag, a garbage-sized plastic bag, filled with all my old toys from when I was a kid.
Whoa!
Right?
And you didn't know they had that? They were saving this?
I didn't remember packing it, no.
Oh,
and so
that's so
I pulled
cool.
it out, and it had, in no particular order, probably 40 X-Men toys, old school X-Men, like Wolverine with retractable claw, and Beast with his backflipping action, and Magneto with real magnets stuck to him and stuff like that. I have like a bunch of the old He-Man plastic figures, like the guy that changes his face, Manny Faces or whatever his name was, where you could turn a knob and his face would change, the lobster guy with the claw action, He-Man with his battle sword, Cringer and Battle Cat and all that stuff. Just a crap ton of Batman stuff. I found all of these different Batmans that have all these weird costumes and backpacks and all this stuff. There was
So what are you gonna do with them all, man? You gonna give them to Bryce? Is he into this? Is he?
I don't think so. I might take some pictures and put them on eBay, man, because I found a bunch of old school Star Wars things, like the Luke Skywalker with light up lightsaber and stuff.
Nice.
A bunch of old school Transformers. Here's the problem with toys. I think that toys start off with really good ideas, and then they run out of ideas, and then they start making just crap toys. So one of the crap toys that apparently I bought when I was a kid was a Transformer that, I shit you not, was a rock. It's just this big rock of a Transformer, and you open it, like pull out the sides of it, and it's like arms, and then you pull out it's kind of kneeling, so you open up the bottom part of it and it stands up, and then you use a slide thing and you pop up the head, and there you go, kids, you got yourself a rock Transformer.
They were just following the pet rock trend of the 70s, where You painted a face on a rock and you sold it for a couple bucks, and you were a millionaire. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Remember Furbies? Or not Furbies. They had like Digimons or something like that. They were like little keychains that you had to feed every once in a while.
Oh,
those were in high school.
Yeah,
for
they
me.
were. What were those things called?
Yeah, they were not Digimons. Digipets or something like that.
Yamaguchis?
Christy
Tamaguchis? Something like that. Anyway, yeah, those things were super annoying. When I was a kid, it's like I'd have one, and 2 days later I'd remember, and I'd go back, and my pet was dead. You have to start over.
They don't have to do that parent thing where you have to take care of an egg for a week. You just give them one of those little toys and see if they're still alive.
Dude, did you ever have to do that?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I might have had to do it with a bag of sugar. Does that make sense? Or a bag of flour? No? Was it an egg? I don't remember. If I did, I probably put it in a corner somewhere until I had to bring it back in. Did you?
No, I didn't, but our sex ed in, I guess, 8th grade or something like that, we had to pair off in class, and you had to pair with it was 8th grade, so you have to pair with a guy and a girl, and you have to raise a baby. Very traditional. I went to a private school. Get off me. And we had to, for a month, be parents. And I can't for the life of me remember how we did it. I just remember it was super awkward, and later on, people were talking about, oh, well, you know, who were you paired with? And I remember actually getting in a fight with my pretend wife or baby partner or whatever about how we were going to raise that kid. I just remember we were pissed at each other for a while. It's so awkward in 8th grade, man.
I don't think it's actually teaching you how to be married or take care of a kid. I think it's teaching you how to be part of a divorced couple.
Probably.
Because you go to separate houses at the end of the day, and you don't have to live with them, and you don't have to negotiate things. You just have to take care of this kid. And
maybe that's brilliant.
Yeah, there's so many divorces. Maybe people rather do that.
It's like, look, you
teaching
can keep them Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but I get them for the weekends. My little pet egg. Oh, shit! That is what we did. We did have a pet egg, or a pet egg. Let me try that again. We did have a child egg that we had to take care of, and we did pass it back and forth. I remember that. But what's funny is, so apparently my sex ed teacher and my physics teacher got together and talked about this whole concept of this egg child thing. And after the sex ed, this is an absolutely true story, after the sex ed was done, we went to our physics class. So after we had finished that month of taking care of an egg with your supposed partner, we went to our physics class, and in physics class, we had to make a contraption that you put your egg in and dropped it off of a 3-story building, and the egg would survive.
What kind of parents are they raising in your fancy private school?
They're raising Spartan parents. It's like, all right, we've raised you for a month now, egg. Now you have to survive this fall.
That's awful.
My egg actually made it, but I remember a couple of people's egg, you know, they wrapped it in bubble wrap and threw it off a 3-story building, and it didn't work, and the egg broke, and it was heartbreaking.
That would be awful. You've taken care of this egg for so long, and now we're just gonna...
We're gonna murder it. We're just gonna murder it.
So you've been working on your home improvements, huh?
I have been working on my home improvements. Before we get into that, let's do a quick shout out to everyone out there. Guys.
Oh, yeah, good call.
You guys are freaking awesome. I want to thank every single one of you for just being part of the Monday Club. Pete and I could not do this without you. Thanks for all of the emails and texts that we've been getting. It really means a lot to us. If you would like to, please rate us on iTunes. It's a big deal. You can find us on MondayClubPodcast.com, Facebook.com/MondayClubPodcast, Twitter @MondayClubPod, Instagram @MondayClubPodcast. Email us at MondayClubPodcast@gmail.com. Also, if you want to buy us a drink,
we'll take it.
We definitely will take it. We'll drink your drink on air. We'll cheers to you. So that's also at mondayclubpodcast@gmail.com. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We couldn't do it without you. We're having a lot of fun. I hope you can tell. I hope you're getting some smiles out of our crazy Monday Club stories as well.
Because this is definitely self-pleasure for us, so there's a little foreshadowing.
A little foreskin shadow.
Segment coming up in a little bit.
All right, so yeah, I have been crazy busy. I wanted to play a little quick game that we're calling ¿Quién es más macho?, which in Spanish means who is more macho. So this last week, I've been home for a couple of days, and I just have been kicking butt at the home improvements. And so here's a small taste of my last week, and then I'm going to totally ruin it at the very end. But a small taste of my last week. I redid my entire shower, including the inner cartridges and the inner plumbings of it. So I actually had to shut off my water and redo everything.
You're a plumber?
Basically. What? I got that done. Yeah.
Did you have to tile, or did you put in like a whole...
No, I just switched out the shower, like the knobs and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And then redid the cartridges that go inside there that control the water and the flow and everything. And I gotta say, it was a scary experience, but God bless you, YouTube. You are amazing. Because just following along step-by-step YouTube videos literally saved me hundreds of dollars this weekend. So I did the shower. My toilet was squeaking, and so I completely redid the plumbing inside of my toilet and got a really awesome, silent, low-flow toilet innards, which was really cool.
Fancy.
Yesterday, I went out to the office, and with the help of James and CJ, we created a slab and raised a shed that's on our office property off the ground by 6 inches, got it all leveled out, got it all framed out, and got it set. So that was cool. I have done yard work. I've barbecued. I've been on it on the man card. And then I have a close-up magic show later on this week. So after I did all of that manly crap that I was so proud of, being a plumber, being a construction guy, all of that stuff.
You're like the Village People rolled up in one.
Yeah, totally, right? And speaking of that, after that, I totally went across the street and got a mani-pedi.
Oh, man. All right, turn in your man card now. You had like 20 punch cards in your man card, and now you got to just got to throw it in.
You just got to start over. Hey,
man.
so let me ask you this, real talk, from performer to performer. Do you ever go out and get the old manicure, pedicure?
I have never got a mani-pedi in my life. I do my own nails. I do, I agree, as a performer, as a magician especially, having nice fingers, because we're constantly telling people to look at our hands, is a must. You need to have attractive-looking fingers, and otherwise you'll gross people out. But I never have. I would be open to doing the mani, but I kind of have a thing against feet. I don't want to touch anyone's feet. I don't want anyone to touch my feet. It's kind of gross, man. Kind of gross.
Listen,
stay away from the feet.
I'm going to say this as a very, very straight male. I love mani-pedis. I have gotten a mani-pedi in most of the states that I've traveled to, and definitely in my home state, in my home city of Austin. There's a place literally right across the street from me that does a great mani-pedi, and I love them, man. I do not mind somebody touching my feet. It's like, that's your job, is to touch my feet. I hate cutting my own toenails, and I hate cutting my own fingernails. It's annoying as crap to me to have to do that. So
do you get one every week then?
No, not every week, but maybe once every 2 months I'll go and get one. And they have massage chairs there that are awesome. They do hot stone massages on your feet and on your hands, on your legs, and on your arms. So coming off the road, that's really nice. They give you a glass of wine. If you get a mani-pedi, they give you 2 glasses of wine. If you're me, they give you 3 or 4 glasses of wine. They usually have nice music on the radio, and it is literally a treat for myself. Plus, when I go out and do my justification for all of it is that when I go out and do events, I don't get nail polish or anything. They do a high buff on my fingernails. But yeah, when you're doing close-up magic, when you're touching people's hands, when you're shaking hands, when you're doing card tricks or whatever, people look at your fingernails. That's your hands are your stage. And so I want to make sure that I don't have gross green crap underneath my fingers. And so yeah, man, I love the mani-pedi. Guys, you can get some serious points out there. I'm just telling you, you can get some serious points with your partner if you show up with some nails on fleek. All right, that's all I'm saying.
All you have to do is hand your man card in.
Hey, it's time for Stories from the Road.
Oh, I love being in control of the music. So last week I was traveling out to Denver and Wyoming for a show, and there was something I wanted to talk about. I couldn't remember. Guess what? Remembered it. So I was traveling to Wyoming. I was vlogging this whole trip as well. So if you want to check that out, youtube.com/Peter Bois. It's a new project. And makes me stop at places I wouldn't normally stop at. And I stopped at a Western Trails Interpretive Center. First of all, I was like, oh, okay, sounds like some sort of education on westward expansion, the Old West. But then interpretive center, I was thinking, what the hell does that mean? Interpretive? How do you interpret history? I mean, you can interpret history, but like, aren't facts facts? Shouldn't they just be, so I stopped and I looked around and, I had a lot of information about the settlers and the different trails. There was the, the Oregon Trail, the Mormon Trail. There's another trail, the Bozeman maybe trail. I don't know. But they left something out very important. The Trail of Tears. That's
an important trail.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't go over this place with a fine-tooth comb, but I did not see any section on what the Europeans did to get this wonderful land from the natives that were already here. And it occurred to me that's their that's why they call it interpretive center, because they know they're only telling one side of the history of it. If you're going to put a whole building together to present Western expansion by the Europeans, you think you got to tell the whole picture with the good stuff of all this awesome stuff of expanding. But then there was a price to pay for that, and there was bad things that happened to the natives that were here, and they just overlooked it.
Man, it's so funny. History is what's the quote? History is only written by the victors, right? So history is only what people write down. History doesn't mean it's true. History means it's whoever recorded it at the time are the ones who get to write down what happened. And so, yeah, man, I can totally see how this would be a weird experience, because it's like you obviously know extra parts of history, right? You obviously know about the Trail of Tears, and you get to a museum that has trail in the name of the museum, and they leave out some pretty important trails in there.
Yeah. The most I got, and like I said, I didn't go through that place with a fine-tooth comb. I had a very finite amount of time, but the most reference I had to the Indians was that they were trading at some fort. They would trade with the white man at a fort. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a great relationship. We come here and we trade and we barter and, we live in peace and harmony. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man.
I mean, if I was a kid, though, that's the story I got when I was a kid. And then in high school, obviously, they go into greater detail, but it's kind of... And also when you're, like, slinging propaganda, you don't title your propaganda, right? Yeah. This is great propaganda. Yeah. They kind of titled it. They gave you a heads up. They were saying interpretive center. I found that weird.
It is so weird. I went to school and my major was an American Studies major. They were like, well, do you want to be a history major? And I was like, no, history's boring, but American Studies, that's awesome. It is like the History Channel version of history. It was the fun version of getting a history major. And what really got me excited about being an American Studies major versus a history major, history was all about dates and places and facts, and American Studies was about stories. And stories are really have always in my life been something that resonated with me. And so it was just so interesting learning all of the real shit that happened back in the day through stories. So when you're a kid, Thanksgiving is a great holiday. And you remember making the little hand turkeys and talking about the Native Americans that brought turkey and corn, and everybody sat down and had a nice, happy feast together. And then Columbus Day, you got off of school, and at Columbus Day, 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, like, yay, everything's happy, that's how we got here. And then you start learning about all that shit, and you're like, oh, holy crap, syphilis blankets were a thing. And
they totally left out the syphilis argument.
They did. They left. Hey, callback. Well done, sir. Cheers. And for Columbus Day, it's like Columbus got credit for discovering a country that already had people on it. That's like
the opposite of discovery.
The opposite of discovery. That's like me getting in an Uber driver's car and telling him that's my car, so take it to my house and then leave.
Man, I wish I had that power.
Right? This is a nice car. I think I'll take this car. Yeah. Do you try to get some culture when you're on the road, when you're walking around, or when you're driving from place to place and you have a couple hours to kill? Do you try to stop in, like when you're in Chicago, stop and get a Chicago-style pizza, or if you're in, I don't know, somewhere in Minnesota, try to go to a smorgasbord or something?
Only if it's super convenient. Like if it's like across the street from my hotel or a block away, yeah, sure, I'll do that. But I normally never go out of my way. Now that I'm vlogging for my YouTube channel, I've gone out of my way because I'm looking for cool shit to put on my YouTube channel. So
I mean, whatever gets you out, man. Whatever gets you out.
But, you know, I like it, though, because it's forcing me to actually take that initiative. You know, take that 10-minute trip off the road to go see something.
Yeah. So when I first started traveling all over the place, people would ask me, like, I would go to New York, and people would be like, oh, you were in New York? Did you go to the Statue of Liberty? And I was like, man, hell no. I was there for 6 hours. I was there just to do my job. I turned around, got on a airplane, and flew back. Like, hell no, I didn't go to the Statue of Liberty. And now, like you said, now that you're vlogging, now that you're out there looking for the experiences so you can share those experiences with people, I've tried really hard to take extra time to go out and do local stuff so that I can have those local experiences and talk about them and share them with other people. And so recently we went to, when I was in Chattanooga, Tennessee, I went to the Chattanooga Choo Choo and explored the Chattanooga Choo Choo. And
what the hell's the Chattanooga Choo Choo? That sounds like a dance. Let's do the Chattanooga Choo Choo.
It is a song, actually.
Oh, really?
It's a famous song, and the Chattanooga Choo Choo is this famous landmark in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where they still have all of these old steam engines and a railroad depot that's right there. They also have, listen, plug for the Chattanooga Choo Choo, if you're ever there. One, they have some of the best handmade ice cream in the Chattanooga, Tennessee at the Chattanooga Choo Choo Museum, so go check that out. Two, they have one of the largest model train sets in America set up there where you can go in and hit buttons and trains start going with steam in them and go through like giant mountain passes and stuff like that. So anyway, go check that out. It's really cool, and it's really cool to walk around on the old school steam trains and see how life was back in the 20s and roaring 30s and 40s and stuff like that. And for me, the only way I know that is because I actually took the time to go out and try these things. I've been to some museums. James and I went to a cool museum.
So you really make an effort to get out there and do this stuff?
Recently, I have. I used to be so cynical. I think I went through this weird burnout period where I'd show up in a city, I'd go to my hotel, I'd lay in my bed, I'd watch a movie on Netflix, I'd take a shower, I'd go do my show, I'd go back to the hotel, I'd watch a movie on Netflix, I'd get on my plane, and I'd fly home. And I don't know about you. Yeah,
that's exactly what I did all the time.
I totally hated. I'm getting over it, but I used to hate going out to eat by myself. I used to hate going out to movies by myself.
Oh, that's my favorite.
That.
I love movies by myself. I mean, I love movies anyways, but by myself, I love them just the same. It's because a lot of times when you're on the road, you only have time to go to the movies in the middle of the day. So you go at the 12:30 showing of whatever, and usually you're the only person in the theater. So you just like sit back and you feel like a baller because you got the whole theater to yourself.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but it's funny because I have the complete opposite experience. For me, I sit in a movie when I go to a movie and I'm all by myself. I sit there and I think to myself, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm at a movie at 11:15 in the goddamn morning. There's not a single person in this movie theater. Like I can't high five somebody about how the movie is. When I laugh at the movie and I'm all by myself, it's like I can just hear my lonely ass laugh echo through the movie theater.
I love that. I totally laugh out loud. Like if there's an awesome part, I'll clap a couple times like, yeah, woo! I'll get all animated all by myself. Oh, it's great.
I'm getting over myself because recently I've started, when I'm on the road by myself, I've started going out to sushi restaurants by myself. I'll look up a good sushi restaurant and I'll go out by myself and I'll sit right at the sushi counter where the chefs make the sushi and I'll just, like I own it. Like I'm that guy. Like bring me some sake and let's do this shit.
Totally, man. That's the secret. You got to own it. Own your experience.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Next time I'm on the road by myself, I will go to a movie by myself, and I'll do the Pete Bois. I'll get popcorn and I'll throw it at the screen if I don't like what's happening, and I'll clap all by myself.
That's all. Set up a little camera behind you so we can have a little footage of this Mystery Science
Dude,
Theater.
Absolutely not, because that's how you get kicked out. That's the one thing you can do to get kicked out of a movie. It's like I got kicked out of a movie all by myself.
They won't know it's you, Gus. Like, is that your camera, sir? No, that's not mine.
No, absolutely
is that your camera?
not.
No, definitely not. It's the guy sitting that went to the bathroom.
Well, we're going to confiscate it. No, it's good.
You know, that's why you buy 2 bags of popcorn and 2 drinks, and you put the other bag of popcorn way over on the other side of the theater with the drink, and you say, no, it's that guy over there. He just wanted the center view. He went to the bathroom.
So, listen, all you Monday Clubbers, if you're balling out of control and can afford the $29.50 popcorn...
the second bag of popcorn.
Yeah, you can afford 2
Pepsi.
bags of popcorn at the 11:15 matinee showing. Then go ahead.
I do have my own Englishman that reads me books in the car, so you know when you're in my tax bracket, you can afford that extra bag of popcorn just to leave there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to catch up with Bois, man. I'm just trying to catch up with Bois. Oh, that's funny, man.
What else do you do on the road? What other culture do you bring upon yourself when you're traveling?
James and I recently, well, not actually recently, it was about a year ago, we went to an aquarium. We went to the Georgia Aquarium. We were in Atlanta, Georgia. We had an hour and a half before our show, and we showed up. And if you've never been to the Georgia Aquarium in downtown Atlanta, Georgia, have you ever been?
No, never have, no.
Okay, listen, I'm going to drop some Monday Club knowledge on you. You are welcome after this. It is the largest aquarium in the United States, and it's the second largest aquarium in the world.
Whoa!
Yeah, they have 3 whale sharks.
Those are the huge
in
ones.
this aquarium. And I don't know if you know about a whale shark, but that is a huge animal. It is one of the most well put together aquariums that you can possibly go to. And here was our experience. We show up, we only have a few minutes to go through the aquarium, and we basically power walk the whole thing just to get a good taste of the Georgia Aquarium. And we were almost done, and it was almost time for us to go load into our show. And I had been there before, and I walked up to the information desk, and I said, hey, so last time I was here, which granted was a few years ago, there was a way to see the kind of the backstage view, like where the top of the water through a piece of glass. Is that still here? And they said, no, I'm sorry, we've redesigned the place. You can't see the backstage view. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. Well, thanks for answering my question. But there was a lady who was a volunteer there who came out from nowhere, and she came over and grabbed James and I and walked me over to the elevator and was like, hey, it's my job to make somebody's day every single day, and you guys get to be that person today. So would you like to come with me and see the backstage view of how this whole thing works? And I was like, yes. So she takes us on the elevator that the staff uses, goes to the back area of where all the water's processed and treated. We got to see the animals that haven't gotten released into the cages yet. We got to see the animals that were too poisonous and deadly to get into the aquarium. And the best part was we got to see the top of the pool. This pool is so big, it can house 3 whale sharks in it, and we got to see the top of that, and a whale shark came up and like breached at the very top and went back down, and it was like seeing a dragon. I mean, the thing was huge, and we were just giddy. We were just so giddy. We were like little kids, like playing around. It was so cool.
That's awesome. Were there other people down there? Was there 100 or 200 people like her saying, "Hey, psst, come over here. It's my job to make you feel
dude,
special
we were literally the only people in there. It was great. Now, I know for a fact that you can buy passes to go and see the backstage view, but this was just I asked and it happened, and so it was super special. And then we were like an hour late for load-in for our show, but we still made it. It was cool,
well worth it.
Yeah, totally
That's
worth
awesome.
it.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So my question is, what is the largest aquarium in the world if Atlanta, Georgia is the second largest?
You know, you can Google that.
I already did.
I'm pretty sure it's in Tokyo, Japan.
Oh, you're in the right vicinity of the world. It's in China.
Oh, cool. Where?
Chimelong Ocean Kingdom. In 2014, it was finished. And it's in China. It's on a Chinese island.
Kudos to that. I totally would go. I got my love of aquarium from our old road manager, Emma Haining, and she used to try to take me to aquariums all over the country. She loved aquariums, and once we went to Atlanta, I was like, I'm done. That's awesome.
That's cool. Next time I'm in Atlanta, I should make that trip.
You should, man. If you got any time, or any of you Monday Clubbers out there, you got any time, you should totally go to the Georgia Aquarium. It is worth the price of admission.
It is time for our public service announcement.
I'm so excited.
Calm down. The public service announcement. You may have not known this. You may have not been privy to this information, but May is National Masterbation Month. Dun,
National
dun, dun.
Masterbation Month. I looked it up. I looked it up. It is absolutely true. May is National Masturbation Month. Cheers to you, everyone out there.
Cheers to May.
Cheers
I love
to May.
May's my birthday month. I love it even more now. Yes, well, cheers to that. So this company Tenga, which I looked up, and they are a sex toy company. They make what looks like beautiful. I have not experienced their sex toys. Sex toys will donate $1 for every time you use the hashtag #DoItInMay on Twitter to the Sexual Information and Education Council of the United States.
Or SIECUS.org.
Or as I like to say, .org.
.org. There's so much to talk about right here, buddy. All right, first and foremost, I think it's really important to go ahead and say, and they put this on their website, there's studies out there that of all of these scientific studies, 88%, both of men and women, 88% of the population admit that they masturbate. And the other, 12%? The other 12%, you guys are just liars. You're liars. At some point in time, you totally have.
I agree. It is a natural, healthy thing. I grew up very religious. I was in a very religious household, Catholic, so there was a lot of Catholic guilt that I had to get over about this process. But it happened. Eventually, I got over it in my 30s. No, I'm just in my mid-20s, probably. And then it was fun afterwards, as well as beforehand.
Yeah.
And during.
Pete's like beforehand, backhand. He didn't give a shit.
Any hand.
Any
my
hand,
hand,
left,
your
right,
hand, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing. Americans are so hung up on their sexual problems, right? And I think it's really important to just go ahead and say, if you're a younger Monday Clubber listening to this, masturbation's totally natural. It's a natural thing. And I think the hardest part about... God I can't do this without there being jokes. One of the most difficult parts.
You were saying the hardest part?
The most difficult part of getting over the stigma of masturbation is realizing that it's not embarrassing. It's a personal thing. Just have fun with it.
It's only embarrassing if, like, you are accidentally spied.
True.
Walked in on? You ever been walked in on?
I'm going to say, wow, what a direct question. I have never been walked in on.
First, Gus, do you masturbate?
I mean, yeah, obviously, right?
Okay.
Yeah, obviously. I have never been walked in on. I was thinking about this when I saw in our show notes we were going to talk about this whole hashtag doing it in May.
Do it in May.
Do it in May. Yeah.
Yeah.
DOITINMAY, all one, no spaces. Do it in May is the hashtag, and if you seriously, that will donate $1 to this to sexual information, which I think needs to go out, especially in today's age and time and political culture. It's a good thing to do. I'm definitely going to put that hashtag on later today. I was thinking about my first time that I can remember masturbation being a thing. Oh my God.
Are we going to get the very first masturbation story from little Gus Davis? Gus is now drinking the rest of his beer. He needs some beer guts, some beer courage to tell this next story. And I think he got about half a pint's worth of beer courage.
All right. I remember I was probably, I'm going to guess, 13 or 14 years old, because I'm guessing that's when that occurs, right? I found out how to masturbate. I did, and then I swear to God, for a week after that, I was so sad because I had this thought in my head that I had just killed millions of unborn children. I was like, oh my God, those kids will never be born.
Wow, you were pretty advanced to actually know the inner workings of that. I was a complete
I was
shut-eye to the
educated.
whole
I was sort of educated, and yeah. I mean, I had so much guilt over the spilled sperm that would never be born.
Oh, poor 14-year-old Gus, 13-year-old Gus. Oh, man. Oh,
and you, funny. My friend? I went first, buddy.
Man.
Any good masturbation stories?
I don't even know how to say the story. If it's, there's not even really a story. It's probably very, like I said, it happened. I think it happened before I even knew what it was. It was, I did not get educated, I think, fully enough before everything happened to my body to fully appreciate the process that was happening. And so it was all complete natural instincts that how I figured things out. And when it happened, it was, why do I feel so guilty now?
It's amazing how much guilt I think goes along with masturbation. Even as a grown-up, even as an adult, I think that both men and women are still so hung up on the taboo-ness of masturbation. And honestly, I think it comes from middle school teasing. I was thinking about all the different names that people call masturbation. So let's do a quick game.
It comes from Catholicism.
I mean, it probably does. Let's do a quick game, Pete. We're gonna go tit for tat, back and forth. All right.
Goodness.
I want you to say a slang term for masturbation. Ready, set, go.
Wanking it.
Okay. Let's see. Choking the chicken.
Pocket pool.
The pocket pool is a good one. When I was in middle school, I was a basketball player, and on the basketball team, we called it playing a little 5-on-1.
That's a good one. I've never heard that one before. I'm going to stay with the wanking and go wanking the Wonka. No.
Wanking the Wonka, sure.
Wanking the Wonka,
polishing the knob.
Oh, there we go. I'm going to use, how about spanking the monkey?
Spanking the monkey is good. Waxing the weasel.
God, I can't. I have to go back there. My brain. Wait a second. Where's my 12-year? Okay, there's my 14-year-old brain. I think I'm out, Gus.
I'm going to say jerking it for the win. Cling. There we go.
Gus, it is official. You know more slang terms for masturbating than I do.
USA! USA!
Cheers to your masturbation vocab. Oh, man. So use the hashtag masturbate in May. It's a good thing. Just make sure you clean up after yourself.
Just everybody loosen up a tiny bit. realize it is both mentally healthy. It'll solve a lot of your stress problems, and as long as you are safe and consensual and private about your stuff, I mean, just be behind some closed doors and
just be private about it and tweet with the hashtag every time you do it. That's it. Just be private about it. Just tweet it every time you do it. You know, just be private, but
wait, I'm sorry. You don't have to tweet every time you do it. I'm gonna 86 that because I don't want to see your Twitter come out 3 or 4 times a day. I don't need to know that.
Oh, but speaking of, I looked up the hashtag. And let's go through some of these people.
Oh my God, this is great.
I looked up "Do It in May" hashtag. Doctor, here's a doctor. Masturbation. This is Dr. Chris Donalug. I don't know. Masturbation is normal, healthy, and fun. Time to get over the stigma and celebrate life pleasure. And he posted a picture of a woman who is riding a pearl, and the clamshell is wide open, and she's polishing the pearl that is resting in a clamshell.
There you go.
There we go.
Good one.
Yeah, we totally neglected the females on this one.
Ladies,
the pearl.
Ladies, we're sorry.
We know you love it.
If you want to send me a direct message of
pictures,
of slogans for masturbation, we will certainly post those with their hashtag Do It in May. Let's see.
Someone tweeted, "Mom, get out! I'm donating to charity."
I learned it from you, Dad. Hashtag Doing It in May.
8 for 8 in 20 hours.
And while I'm looking through all of the hashtags, which seriously, Monday Clubbers, take a minute, look up that hashtag Doing It in May. It is going to make your day. Just know that as much fun as we're having with it, we also know it's for a good cause, and we joke about it only because we care, and we are plugging them. It helps. It's Tenga is the group. One more time, shout out to Tenga, and shout out to the
National Sexual Information Education Council of America.
Yeah, shout out to you guys for promoting healthiness and honesty in America. This guy posts, May has come, and so should you. and his logo is this green boner with like a world symbol above it, and it's National Masturbation Month.
That's awesome. I so love the internet because we can masturbate for charity. It's wonderful.
It's truly great. It's truly awesome. Oh my God, there's some great pictures on here.
Oh my goodness. So apparently there's, I don't know how true this is, but from the Drudge Report, I don't know where that is. The headline is Lincoln Tunnel traffic jam as man stops minivan to masturbate. Be safe about your masturbation, okay? Make sure you're parked safely away where no one can see you. Otherwise, you could get arrested if someone walks up on you.
So there's all these pictures of people holding these rubber chickens. You know the joke rubber chickens that you can buy at magic stores?
Yeah.
There's all these people who are just like holding the rubber chicken by their neck on this. When I owned T. Myers Magic, I remember we did inventory one day, and we had 72 of these joke magic rubber chickens that are just designed to be clown props, basically. I wish I had those now, because I would have 72 pictures of me holding chickens throughout May.
That's great. Oh man, these tweets are awesome. pictures. I wish we could share the pictures through audio, but
So there's a picture of oh my god, there's some amazing pictures on here. There's a cartoon picture of a woman with her legs spread, and in the middle of her blocking everything is a giant blueberry muffin. And she's using a knife to put butter on the muffin.
oh,
Genius.
okay. So I found an article from Men's Health. 11 shocking facts you never knew about masturbation. Let's run through them real quick because I haven't even read them. Male fetuses might masturbate in utero. What? What? Is this insane or what?
I just took a drink of beer while he was reading that first one, and that went down real rough.
We could talk about that forever. Next one. It might keep your prostate cancer free. Hey,
I've heard that. I've heard that it is healthy for your prostate. All right, next.
Plenty of reason to do it. You might need to switch up your technique. I guess when you're actually having sexual intercourse with whoever you choose. I don't know. I'm not reading. I'm just reading the headlines. Not all guys masturbate. What? Yeah, I guess that might be possible.
I mean, not all guys blink, I guess. There's probably somebody out there that doesn't blink, so it's fine.
Happy men forget the last time they masturbated. Oh, I don't need to remember. May is national. Yeah, we got that one. Vibrators for masturbation aren't just for women. Gus, do you have anything to say about this?
I do not.
Liar! There is actually a wrong way to masturbate. What? You've probably... All right, I got to read this. You can get masturbation injuries. That's insane. You can get a penile fracture from masturbating.
Okay, all right, pause. So this goes to why it is such bullshit that there is such a stigma and a hang-up about sex and about masturbation in this country. Because I'm going to tell you right now, anyone who's got a penile injury from masturbation, clearly you were not taught correctly. You have a hang-up somewhere that has made that happen. And that could have been solved through education.
Or other horrors include strangulation from being squeezed too tight and gangrene from infected wounds. Opened by excessive chafing. Wow. That's multiple times.
Okay, yeah. Moving on.
Whoa, that's... losing your erection during masturbation could signal trouble. And there's a little sign for you. Masturbation and intercourse semen are different. What? Gus, you were not killing little babies.
I'm so happy.
Guilt-free now. Men have not cornered the market on masturbating. Research confirmed that men masturbate more than women, but men aren't the kings of the castle. What? Oh, some animals. Oh, okay, now we're talking animals. I think that's it. Did I reach 11? Yes. Oh, and then it goes on. 6 reasons you should masturbate when you're married. We could go do this forever.
Yeah, no, we're gonna stop touching that one.
Oh, boom!
and move on. Listen, one more time. Shout out to Tanga. Shout out to National Masturbation Month. Shout out to you guys for just being adults and being honest about it. Shout out to toys, both for adults and for kids, and kid toys for adults, and adult toys for kids, and adult toys for adults. Just toys are awesome.
All toys are awesome. Although I have a beef with sex toys, man, because they're not. There's like a vast majority made for women. There's not as many for the dudes.
Yeah, but I think that's because dudes are easy.
Yeah,
it's like dudes don't take that much.
Argument 1. Let's move on to the teachable moments.
Teachable moments. Right.
So my teachable moment.
Sound effect for that.
Come on, guys, you got to get on that.
Yeah, no, it's on me. I'm lazy.
I'm piggybacking off of National Masturbation Month. Man, love yourself. Love yourself physically. Love yourself emotionally. However you want to is okay with me. Love yourself.
It's all right to take yourself out on a date.
Yeah.
And if you've taken yourself out on a date and you want to finish it off, that's all right.
Yeah, because you bought yourself 2 bags of popcorn. That's good. You treated yourself. You know how that you treat yourself? Love yourself.
That's a callback. That's a classic of comedy. For me, my teachable moment, when you're out on a date, guy or girl, doesn't matter. When you're out on a date, use math. Look at your bill. Everybody, do me a favor and look at your bill. I'm trying to help you out, save you some money. Over this last week, I have three times over the last week caught mistakes on my bill, and I just want all of you to use your money properly. Make sure that you look at your bill, add it up yourself, make sure that everything that's on the bill is correct. Here's what happened. I went to a restaurant and I gave them money. They gave me change. They shortchanged me by $10. I caught it. It was super easy to deal with and no worries. But had I not caught it, that would have cost me an extra $15 with the tip. So there's one. On another time that I gave money in cash, I was shortchanged. And the last time, it was on my credit card statement. I looked through the bill, and they charged me for a couple of extra drinks that weren't on there. And the only reason why I knew that is because I looked at the numbers, and I was like, well, I was pretty sure that should have cost this amount of money, and it looks like it cost $15 extra. I wonder what that was, and went through the bill and found it. So everybody, I know math is rough sometimes. Just try really hard after a meal. Look at your bill, do the math, and make sure that you're taking care of your finances. Well, we sure rubbed that episode out. Hey guys, Gus here. I just want to give a huge plug to all of the people that make this work. Shout out to Pete Waugh. Make sure to check his new vlog out. I also want to make sure that you guys know, if you like this episode, rate us on iTunes. We'd certainly appreciate that. Help spread the word of the Monday Club Nation. We want to get as many Monday Clubbers out there as possible. You can also check us out, www.mondayclubpodcast.com, Twitter @MondayClubPod, Instagram @MondayClubPodcast. Email us, mondayclubpodcast@gmail.com. That's also, if you want to buy us a drink, you can send us some money at that PayPal address. Super thanks to James Caldwell, our sound engineer, and special thanks to Zach Holder, who made this music possible. Guys, you all are amazing. Monday Club out. We'll see you next week.
All right, time to go do some hashtagging.